walking down a winding road, I see the sun that glows in every crack, in every stone where wildflowers grow. The whispers of the wind, they tell a tale of time. Every broken heart's a lesson dressed in quiet rhyme. Tangled heartstrings pull and tear, they guide us through the haze. Every note a melody that plays through all our days. Find the strength in every chord, the courage to let go. Life's a song we're writing slow through highs and every low. The river runs its course, it bends but never breaks, just like the choices that we make, the chances that we take. Silver thread through symphonies of sorrow and the words we've left unsaid. Tangled heartstrings pull and tear, they guide us through the haze. Every note a melody that plays through all our days. Find the strength in every chord, the courage to let go. Life's a song we're writing slow through highs and every low. Yo, it's the echoes of the past, the lessons in the cracks. We're patching up the holes in all the love we lack. Life's a dance, a crazy chance, a waltz beneath the moon. Keep the rhythm steady, cause the dawn is coming soon. So take a bow and play your part, no matter how it stings. The world will turn, the tune will change, but love's what always clings. The violin, it softly cries, the stars begin to fall. Through tangled heartstrings we will rise, we'll conquer after all. Tangled heartstrings pull and tear, they guide us through the haze. Every note a melody that plays through all our days. Find the strength in every chord, the courage to let go. Life's a song we're writing slow through highs and every low.
Not that I've personally witnessed, but I do think this whole Coldplay drama thing going out there is quite insane. I think that probably is one of the craziest stories I've heard to date. Yeah.
I didn't witness, but I did hear something at my workplace. I work in government, and there was I guess it was a postdoc that used to work there, and he just like kept watching porn in the middle of work. It was crazy, and I guess like you can't really fire them like right off the bat, so they had to keep watching him, and eventually they got some intervention. And then the people that came in to watch him do his work eventually caught him doing it in the act, and then they had to just let him go from there. It was mad OD, but it was going on for like probably a few months to 6 months or something. But they had to find a reason to, I guess, they had to catch him in the act. So I guess that's probably the wildest thing I've experienced or heard about.
Oh no!
Oh, that's crazy. I think I'm gonna skip this one.
Can we do
Yeah,
the next
we do
one?
that, yeah.
You guys want to work together?
No. Try not to gossip.
Yeah,
Nobody
we don't
wants
want to
to
gossip. Yeah. Well, one of our coworkers back in the days, he used to have his own boys, clocking for his own boys before they would show up for work. So we give him extra time, and basically they were all living together anyway in one home, right? And since he was the guy who was the landlord, and he needed them to make more money, he would actually show up to work, and then he would just clock them in, and then at the end of the day, he would just clock them out too, whether they were here or not, and just basically based on that pay, he will take a cut from them.
Maybe not scandals per se, but you know, people do stuff at workplaces while they're married, things like that. I mean, that's normal. I've seen that. I think that's more normal nowadays.
Hey everyone, and happy Labor Day! And welcome back to the craziness and chaos that happens after that. Finding time for intentional moments, date nights, or even time for yourself is so difficult right now. With deadlines needs being met at work and kids having after school activities, it's so hard to find that moment of peace and quiet for you and your partner. Not only that, but yourself also. So, all right, TJ, Andrew, are you guys ready? Let's dive in.
Come on, this is the last weekend you're allowed to wear all white, according to the fashion police policy. So, I think.
Sorry, I was having a little mic issue there. I got it. Y'all can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Great.
Amazing. I am ready for this. I absolutely love date nights, and I definitely don't want dudes to go away. I love them, and you need them to keep the fire burning. So I'm looking forward to hearing all your tips and tricks and everything that you guys are about to share, and I'm going to jump in with you.
All right, guys. So go ahead and go grab your drink of choice and grab a snack, and let's untangle those heartstrings tonight. All right, guys, school's back, and so is the schedule crunch. After school activities, end of the year crunch meetings, and all of the holiday planning, not only is time limited, but funds might be a little limited too. And we all hate when funds are limited.
Yes.
With all of that said, personal time and date nights are usually put on the back burner. And then we forget about ourselves and we forget about our partner. And we don't want our partner to ever feel like they are not our number one priority. So let's remember we have to make time for those date nights. 100% making time for those date nights. And not only that, making time for ourselves alone. Let's not forget about those kids. They actually, no, wait. I think we can forget about them for one night, just for the date night.
Good point.
What do you guys think? Andrea, TJ, do you think that here in society today, with the rush that, we have to meet these deadlines, and money is such a big, big thing that we need it to live, obviously. But I think we forget about time and worry more about the money aspect of bringing money into the house and being able to provide. And then we're forgetting about the time for our partner, and we're forgetting about time for ourselves. We always make time for our kids because, of course, we have the after school activities that we're scheduled for, and then moving on from there. I mean, it just gets so crazy, especially this time of year. And we're heading into that holiday planning time. So we need to make sure that we make that intentional moment and intentional date night times. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think it always seems like kids want everything now. I mean, you said we're planning for the holidays. I'm making my list. Every time you tell me you want something, I'm going to go ahead and make that list so that I can check it off for Santa Claus later. But right now, I'm going to worry about me and my honey going out and enjoying ourselves. It's that time of the year. Summertime is over. That's where you spend those family moments and go to Disney World or go to the beach or just the lake for the weekend.
Nobody's going to Disney World on a date night, TJ. Nobody can afford that.
No, that's not true. I know several people that are huge Disney fans, and they will make it a whole date day or a whole date weekend.
You just got to save up for years for it and hope you're still together when you get on it. That's all.
Right?
I think the best time for me to go to Disney World is when I could drink. So we're doing the drink around the world.
You need to go to Epcot. That's where you got to go.
Epcot or somebody's bar spot.
Nelson, I see you put a comment that you did send a message. I'm going to check those tonight, and then I'm going to pop into those spam messages because they may have popped in there, and I will look for it. I promise. We're not forgetting about you. But back to date night.
Yes.
So let's do this. We need to make intentional time, and it doesn't have to be an entire night. It's even if it's like 15 minutes of taking everything out of your life and spending that 15 minutes completely focused on your partner. You don't have to be an hour, 2 hours. It does not have to be dinner every single time. Most people think date night is dinner. You have to eat, guys. Literally, you have to eat to survive. So it is a necessity to eat. I never, ever consider going out to dinner a date night because we have to eat. So taking that 15 minutes and saying, hey, nothing else, our phones are away, our TVs are off. We're making that intentional time together. And even locking the door so the kids can't come in and, I've got 15 minutes to focus on you. Let's sit down and just have a conversation, because sometimes we even forget to do those things.
That's not where I thought you were going with that, Mia. I thought you were trying to shove sex into the 15 minutes. That's what I thought you were.
I mean, there's always time for a quickie, but this is intentional time that I'm talking about. We're always going to have time for sex. We're always going to figure out that time for sex, regardless of what's happening in our life, because that's just how it works. Intimacy is important, yes. But I think making intentional time, not sexy time, intentional time to actually sit there and speak to each other, ask each other, how's your week been? How's your day been? What is bothering you? And how can I help you make life easier? Those are making intentional moments and intentional date nights, or when you're talking about those things, not about, the kids have basketball on Friday and I have a meeting. How are we going to make this together? You know what I'm saying? It's intentional time is not sexy time to me. It is making time to connect with your partner.
I think I'm going to write on Nelson's comment here. He says, dinner dates always feel more special than just texting all day. I will agree with that and disagree with you a little bit, Mia, on dinner dates, because I guess it's what you make of it. So you can go grab dinner at Chipotle down the street, but if you're making the effort to make a reservation, you kind of say, hey, babe, grab a red dress tonight and just doll up a little bit. We've got an hour and a half. Let's get to dinner and enjoy our quiet time. I think that's really super important. And if all people can get in is a dinner because they need to get away from their screaming kids or crying or whatever they need to, I think that's still a good date night, even if you can't do anything else. I like a dinner date.
Yeah, I love that you guys made the date so intentional. I think as gentlemen, we want to make this big, extravagant date that's gonna, make you smile for years. But the intentions behind a small date, that's about, like you said, 15 minutes, maybe even 30, just to get an understanding of each other. Making it very personal. Letting the people know that your emotions towards them aren't half full. You really want to know what's going on with them.
Yeah, and I think you can make a dinner date even extra special. I think I've talked about this before on either here or my podcast, but I think you can do little things within that dinner date to make it extra special. So I like wrote out all of these questions that I had that were a little bit deeper than the normal, just how was your day kind of questions. And I cut them out and I put them in a little baggie. And on our date night, when I was dating this guy, every week, we would take that baggie with us. And while we were waiting for our food to come out, I'd have him pick out like 2 or 3 questions. And that kind of started up and sparked conversation on things that we wouldn't normally talk about. So maybe like, what was your favorite thing to do with your dad when you were growing up? Just little things that you wouldn't normally talk about on an everyday basis. And so it helped me to get to know him better and him to know me. And it made it a little bit more special. So I really love that.
No, I agree with both of you. And yes, me saying that date night can't be dinner. Yeah, of course it can. But take that extra 15 minutes after dinner and take a walk, hold hands, and make a connection while you're there. I feel like dinner is such a hard time to connect because we're eating. We don't like to talk when we're eating. Me personally, I cannot stand when somebody is trying to talk when they have food in their mouth, so it drives me nuts. And I don't feel like intentional learning moments about each other are going to be at dinner. Yes, talking about your day and how it's going and everything prior to dinner starting and maybe after dinner drinks is great too. But I think taking that extra 15 minutes, even on a walk to the car, or take the long way around to get to your car from the restaurant, walk that extra block, hold hands, make that intimate connection there, and have that intentional time and actually be able to connect during your walk, because there's so much going on in that restaurant in most cases. I mean, if you're doing like a picnic or something, yes, that is definitely a date night dinner. Mm-hmm. But if you're like sitting in a restaurant, it's really hard when there's a lot of commotion going on to really have that intentional connection with your partner, especially when the server is walking up to you because you've just taken your first 2 bites and they want to make sure the food's okay. Or you're in this deep conversation and they're coming in over and asking you about the wine list, and then you forget what you were talking about. So that's why I'm trying to say is making sure that you have that intentional 15 minutes. And really, guys, that's all that it takes. It's 15 minutes to make somebody feel special. It lets them know that, hey, I've thought about you all day. I've set this special time aside, and we get to spend time together, learn about each other, and find out how we're doing.
Great point.
Let's take it back to the old days where we were dancing and we were hearing each other while we were dancing, having those nice intimate conversations.
Right. That slow dancing together, in the park. You guys can take this stuff does not have to cost you money either. Going down to your local park and taking a walk. Even getting on the swings with your partner. I know it sounds silly and we're all older, or you feel like you're too old to get on the swing. You're never too old to get on that swing and push yourself. You're never too old to get on that swing and have your partner push you. Having that fun, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing moment with your partner is going to make you feel so much more special with that person. Having those silly moments are probably more fun than the sexy moments sometimes.
You know what the best thing is? You go get lost in the woods.
Yes, get lost in the woods.
You find that perfect view. It's just you two. I mean, you get to know his protection skills. You know he's going to protect you while you're in the woods alone. You're going to learn a lot there. And it's just you two. No one else is watching.
Except for those noises that you hear in the woods, and you got to hold his hand and get a little bit closer to him.
A little bit. I was actually laughing, Mia, at you saying about being with somebody that's talking and chewing at the same time. And I'm thinking, you've been with your husband for a very long time. Are you speaking from personal experience here?
No, absolutely not. He is not a mouth chewer. I have had to teach my children growing up, and I mean, all parents really do. They are learning to breathe through their nose and eat at the same time. So you have to teach them to keep their mouth shut while they're chewing. And that is probably raising my kids and having them do that was probably my biggest pet peeve. We would sit at dinner and I would sit there and be like, okay, can you please chew with your mouth closed? And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, no, really, you need to chew with your mouth closed. We are not in a field and we are not a cow.
Yeah, I've had a couple really fun little date nights recently of things that didn't cost like very much money at all. And especially during the summer, I just wanted to, if you look and you kind of research in Facebook a lot of times, or you can just Google like fun things to do in your area. You can also put free events to do in your area. A lot of times there's things within your park. There can be movies in the park, concerts. I recently went to it was a knockoff Beatles concert. And I mean, it was great. It was just, you just pulled up your lawn chair and sat there, grabbed a little, snack, and you just enjoyed that. That was really fun. And then more recently, I found a theater playhouse that was kind of like around my location. And a lot of times they have like their first show before their first show. And it's kind of a run through show. So you can get tickets for those a lot of times. I mean, around here, then the normal tickets are $35 to $50, and these tickets the night before are $10. So you can't beat that, right? You're going to a fun little play. So just kind of expand your horizons and find some really fun stuff to do outside of the box.
No, I agree 100%. And I think the sillier, the better. I think the crazier, the better. Because truly going on an adventure with your partner could be amazing experience you have ever had. We love to take little adventures, even if it's just for a day. But mostly when we leave the kids at home and go away for the weekend, we always find like some kind of adventure to take, whether it be like going tubing because we never went before, or going skiing because we've never went before, doing something you've never done.
Yep.
Separately, together.
Yeah.
It creates an amazing connection.
Yeah. Challenge yourself to find something, even if it's like you do normal things on a normal date night, but maybe once a month, you're like, okay, your responsibility to your spouse, to find one this month is you got to find something we haven't done before, something that is very cost effective and that can fit into a certain time frame. And you take turns that month kind of finding something that you each can do and bring to the table. It's really fun because you can surprise them with some really neat stuff.
No, I agree. Surprises are the best. Even, okay, coming from the woman's perspective, please, 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 please start surprising your men. They may say that they do not like it.
But you wanted to be surprised.
I promise you, the look on their face when you surprise them will just be worth it, regardless if they enjoy it or not. Just surprise them. They're going to enjoy it. I promise.
Is that true?
It may be a little embarrassing, but because they're used to doing the surprise thing for you. But come on, ladies. Let's do it.
I mean, we love that nervous quirkiness.
I know, right?
Once you show your vulnerability for women, it's like, wow, I gotta let this loose a little more. Let her out, see the world. She showed me something.
Right, exactly.
You're letting some of your secrets out of the bag here, TJ. I like this.
Absolutely. Share some more, please.
I mean, I understand that as men, we fall vulnerable to the traditional machismo, kind of this the word where you like
All right, guys, just a few moments. All of your opinions matter. And that's why we do this little thing called Man on the Street, where we go and ask you guys, our viewers, silly questions. Well, not so much silly, but they are questions that we think about while we are getting our script together, while we are getting ready for the show and getting all our content together. These are questions that we think about while we're putting this together. So we thought that we would go ahead and go out on the streets of our local communities and just ask random people questions. And that's what we call our Man on the Streets questions. And I know you saw it at the beginning, and I know you guys have been seeing it, but I kind of wanted to explain it just a little bit. I think moving forward, it's going to be amazing that we're going to be able to do this more often. We're going to get more people's views, and having your views and your opinions, especially answering our questions when we sit here and answer your questions all the time, is absolutely amazing to me. Don't forget, if you can't find us out on the streets in your local community, you can also send your questions over to Tangled at lg3productions.com. And here for your second question today is going to be, do you have separate banking or is everything shared? Don't forget to pop your answers into the chat here.
Could I do both? I would go with both if possible. Have my own, but also have a shared one. So those shared finances can go towards other things, whether it be kids or house or personal things like that. I probably try to do both.
Ooh, definitely separate bank accounts. I think just for safety reasons, you can never really know somebody 100%. I also think it's fun to surprise them. I love giving gifts. Kind of hard to do that when you have a shared bank account. So I think separate is the way to go.
I'd rather do 50-50 instead of all in or all out. So, yeah.
I definitely do shared accounts
Mhm.
with like just like a minor account that I could have, but it will still all be shared. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with my spouse, she has her bank account. I have one bank account. We have one that is shared, and we have one for the kids. So we have about 4 or 5. No, I think 4, because we have some account overseas as well. But we do share transparency with each other. Like, for example, she needs some cash. I'll tell her where I can lend it to her, then she will lend me back some money because I'm low on some stuff there.
Probably separate because I feel like you never really know a person 100%. So I think people do weird stuff all the time. And then if something happens, I would like to have like my own separate means. Like if something really major happened, I wouldn't have anything to my name at that point. So
Whoa.
Hey guys, we're back. All right, TJ, let's go with this. What topic do you have for us today?
Well, I got to say, within the male, traditional thinking, we have cultivated, an opinion that we must always be, dominant, whether it's, behavioral, mentally, financially. This has made us like hide our vulnerability in a sense from our woman. We can no longer do that. I mean, we must allow our woman, to take part of everything. I mean, I'm not saying you have to be, submissive, but you could, depend on your woman, on your own standards and how you want to roll. Uh, I mean, you got to be able to accept your vulnerability and allow yourself to be spoiled. It may affect your, mental health on a downfall if you don't. Allowing a dysfunctional brain to slide through, which could lead to the fall off of our relationships. Um, because we're getting frustrated, with the restlessness of the routine that we go through every week, trying to make sure that we're doing the right thing, and we have to just allow ourselves to be spoiled and pampered. If others won't do it for you, do it for yourself. I mean, me time. Don't be afraid to ask for it. Ladies, what's like your favorite things to do during me time?
Do you really want to know my favorite thing to do during me time? Do we really want to talk about that shit? Well, okay. So me time is taking care of yourself. Whether it be pampering yourself by going to get your nails done, we all know Mia does that. Going to get your hair done, we all know Mia does that. And taking care of yourself sexually is important also.
And we all know Mia does that.
Me time, go ahead and take care of yourself. Your man doesn't always have to take care of you. I promise. We are very capable ladies. Andrea, do you think? Okay, hold on. I know TJ said something that kind of clicked with me. So I don't necessarily live in a dynamic, but I'm a very submissive woman. But I take care of him by doing things for him also. He takes care of me and I take care of him. And the way he takes care of me is financially, making sure that I'm supported, you know, taking me out on date nights, making sure that my mental health is okay and everything. But how I take care of him is, you know, when he comes home from work, I'll make sure that he has food. When he is off for the weekend, I try to make sure that there's no cleaning that needs to be done because, you know, he's worked 16-hour days during the week. Why do I want him to have to come home and clean on the weekends? So it doesn't necessarily have to be pampering by buying things. It doesn't have to be pampering by, you know, doing all of these extravagant things. I'm packing his lunch, you know, making sure that he has a snack because he's going to work 4 extra hours and he's not going to have time for that meal. Just taking that time and thinking about, you know, how can I make his life better? Because, you know, ladies, every day when that man wakes up, he is thinking, how can I make my partner feel safe? How can I make my partner feel loved? How can I make my partner feel wanted? And sometimes we take those things for granted. And I feel so bad because I've done that in the past where I've taken him for granted so much that I have made him feel not wanted in my relationship. And that wasn't okay. So I'm just trying to give you guys some tips so you don't end up in the same freaking spot I was in 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, being dominant is not a bad thing for a man. I think society has made us extremely soft and have taken that dominance away from men and given a little bit to women, and that's okay. We're moving and we're progressing forward, but we can't forget that we're each other's partners and we need to take care of each other. If we are feeling unwell, if we are our mental health is strained, or you know, we're not feeling wanted, why are we not using my favorite word, communication?
Yeah.
I mean, really, why are we not communicating to our partner that, hey, these things are how I feel? And then we don't get into that spot where we're stuck.
Yeah, good point. You know,
I kind of just took that off and went somewhere else with it.
That's okay. That's okay. I was going to refer back to TJ I love when he's like, if you want your woman, I felt like he should be beating his chest a little bit when he said that. Oh, love it. But I do agree with you guys that, you know, you have to find these things that you can do for yourself whenever you need your special time. That could be when, like you said, pampering, maybe taking a hot bath, or you're getting your nails done or your hair done, or just sitting and reading a book. Or, you know, I love to have me time in the evening, sometimes with nobody around. I would turn on my favorite show, get my favorite snack, and that is my me time. So I really love that. And then to touch base on what you said, Mia, about, you know, pleasing your spouse and everything. Yes, you absolutely want to, when you're not having your me time, you have to work on pleasing each other and take care of each other, and doing those little things that you said are so extra special. I think we're all starting to learn, you know, like money can come and money can go. And look at us when COVID hit. Nobody was prepared for that, right? So now all of a sudden we're learning and finding other ways to spend time with our partner and our spouse. I think we're already kind of getting away from it a little bit again, because that seems like so long ago. But it's a really great time to, like, you know, find things to do together. Maybe a puzzle. Maybe you guys are, you know, you just find all these cute little things you can do, and you can do things for your partner, your spouse, to make them feel special too. So I love all of that you said.
You know, we used to like this game when we were younger called Truth or Dare.
Yes.
Okay. You can play that with your partner. I know it sounds so silly. It really sounds so silly. But playing that with your partner at our age is kind of fun because you're like, oh my gosh, do you think they're really going to do it? Or, and then you come up with some bogus shit like, hey, go run around the yard butt naked. Everybody's asleep, but you still want them to do it just to see if they do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a silly moment, and you guys are gonna laugh about it later in life, and you're like, I cannot believe we sat there and we played Truth or Dare in our 30s or in our 40s or in our 20s when that was something we played when we were kids. And those were the games that we weren't allowed to play when we were kids.
That never have I ever, right?
Oh, yes. I love playing that game with my husband because we still, to this day, after almost 25 years, learn new things about each other.
Sure.
Because, of course, you're never going to learn everything about your partner. You're always going to learn something new.
Yeah.
You can double up on that. They've made a card game just for that.
Really?
They've made a card game where you give out date coupons. You can trick.
No, we do date coupons. I am so glad you brought that up. Okay. Date coupons are the most amazing thing ever. And you do not have to buy them. You can make them. You can just cut out little pieces of paper and be like, okay, you have to pick the date tonight. So your partner picks the date. Or you can do this, what's that new thing on TikTok where you can go to a store and you pick a color and you buy all your partner's favorite things in that color. Or you don't even have to purchase them, guys. You can go fill a cart with those things. And guess what? You can put them back. You don't have to purchase them.
Hey, can I add on to your date coupons?
Yes, go ahead.
I've gotten 100 notes in 100 jars. In a jar. You write some motivational ones. You highlight your categories.
Yes.
And let them know what paper is the category, their color that they're picking up. It's wonderful. I loved when I still use it.
Right. I think that's a great idea too. Date night in a jar. Pick your favorite places and throw them all in a jar and be like, or even doing new places. Have one for your favorite places and then have a jar for new places and be like, okay, are we going to go to a new place or are we going to go to our favorite place? And then stick your hand in and pick one. Or do, dinner in one jar and dessert in another.
Ooh.
Fun. And that way you're both picking something and you're picking from your favorite places anyways.
I like that. Yeah. You can switch it up every night.
Exactly. And another thing we like to do is like Saturday morning breakfast. Pick a place you've never been to before and just go to breakfast.
Well, that's a great one. Yeah, because kids are still sleeping until about 12 o'clock.
So exactly.
You got a perfect sneak out time. Start at 8 o'clock, get back until 11.
Yep, exactly. Yesterday we were home by 10:30 because the place that we liked and went to was open at 6 a.m. and we went at 8:30 because we're up so early. Anyways, I know we're crazy. It's a Saturday. We should be sleeping in, but this girl can't sleep in, unfortunately.
I think you can also use a lot of those coupons for just simple things like you get 3 free hugs that night, or, whatever you want to use it for. It could be something sexual if there's something you want to go down that road and there are coupons for that, or you get a free massage from your spouse. And so you can pick and choose when you want to use those certain coupons throughout the year. You can do that and make them up a little coupon book. It's a very cute idea.
Okay, one last idea, guys, because it's one of my favorites that we do is poker. We play poker for things that we want. If I want him to plan a date night and it's been a while, I'll be like, okay, we're going to play poker tonight. And if I win 5 games, you have to plan the next date night. Or if I win 5 games, you can get very creative with your prizes. Things that you don't normally do in the bed, you could add to your prizes for your win. Things that you like, but your partner may be on the edge about. Talk to him about it first. Of course, always use that communication and discuss this with your partner before you do it. But be like, hey, I like anal, but I know you don't like to do it that often. You don't mind it, but hey, I'm going to play poker for anal tonight. You know what I'm saying? You can come up with the silliest things on what you're going to win, but it's that moment, it's spending that time together. It doesn't really matter what you guys do. It's taking that intentional time together. That's the most important part.
Gentlemen, don't be afraid to roll the dice on that night.
Right?
If she's giving you hints here, and they can be strip poker the whole night if you like.
Right, exactly. It's strip poker.
But roll the dice and play it right. When you know that there's something that you want out of your relationship, use it in any quirky way you can. Like I said, for the ladies, we can be quirky too, and it actually makes us look a little nerdy. But they like the nerds, so feel free to be yourself while doing it. I mean, no one's going to control what's going on in your relationship other than the two of you. If you can control that date night, who's paying for it, she would love that. She would love to spoil you. Use that to your advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. I know I said anal, but I want to go over something really, really quick about it. We're not gonna pressure our partner into doing it. We are not going to use anything that is going to be numbing. We are not going to stick anything in there that does not have a flared base. And we are going to be safe. If our partner is saying that it hurts, then we are going to stop immediately. When the answer no comes out of their mouth, it is a stop everything. We are done. It is a red light, and do not fucking move forward. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Find a safe word like pineapple or something.
Yes, have a safe word if it's something that you've never tried before, but I am very adamant about not using any numbing creams or anything like that. You can injure yourself and not know that you're injured, and you could bleed to death that way. So it's very, very, very important that we are practicing safe practices, doing things safely, and not pressuring our partner into doing things that they do not want to do, because communication is the main point behind every relationship. And if your partner says no, then the answer is absolutely fucking no.
I mean,
period.
We can ultimately tell the signs when
right
our partner is not feeling comfortable. Read the room. The air leaves the room when your partner isn't feeling comfortable. I'm sure you can tell that. The expressions on their face, the way they're breathing. I mean, just the way they're touching you too.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they're detached.
Yes.
So learn those from your woman, because she gives those signs. But also, women, learn that from your man. If he's not feeling it, you got to give him the space. I mean, granted, then and there you're hurt, but let the relationship breathe.
Yes. So I'm not sure how we went from bank accounts splitting.
No, I agree, but I think if I'm going to mention something like that, I totally need to make sure that I am mentioning safe ways to do it and not pressuring our partner into doing things that we are uncomfortable doing. Really quick, I need to address Nelson here. It says, "Hey Mia, I got a problem I'm currently going through. I need your advice." So, Nelson, you can either pop your issue into the comments here and we can go over it here live, or you can go ahead and send a message over to Tangled at ld3productions.com and we can get your message there and we can either address it on our next show, or I can address it personally. And if you want me to address something personally and you want advice personally from either me, Andrea, or TJ, just make sure that when you're sending that message in to the email that you're putting in there that, hey, I want this personally. I don't want it advertised online. This is something that's a little bit too personal. And we will totally not. We're here for advice. We are not here to embarrass you. I'm going to embarrass myself a whole hell of a lot on this show, and that's okay. That is my choice, but I am not going to make that choice for you. So if you think that you don't want it to be aired out here, then go ahead and make sure you mention that in there. Again, the email is tangled at ld3productions.com. Sorry, Andrea, go ahead with what you were going to say.
Oh, that's okay. No, that's great point. Great point. No, I was just going back to talking about, the bank accounts. Are we putting them together or separating? I think we kind of went off in different directions. So I was just bringing it back around to that. To see what some of the people in the audience are thinking on their end. We want to see those comments of what you guys are doing. Are you sharing bank accounts or are you doing it separately? Because I think that's a really fun topic. I know what I've done in the past, so I'm happy to share. when I was married, my ex-husband and I, we shared a bank account all times. As soon as we got married, the accounts went together and everything came out of the same accounts for the whole time. I don't know that I would, if I would do that differently now that I'm on my own and, things are a little bit different. I do think it's always good to have one joint account. Maybe it's a fun account that you guys do little trips from, or you do dinner night. Maybe that's your date night account that you guys both chip into it. If you guys are making the same amount of money and one can't afford to always pay for the other one, maybe you can do that and put it together. A lot of people also like to take turns on paying for date night. And so you have your separate accounts, but maybe you have a rule, like if I choose the restaurant, then I'm going to pay for it. So there's different ways to go about that. Everybody has to do what's comfortable for them. But whether you want to have single accounts or joint accounts, as long as the bills are being taken care of and you guys are still doing your date nights, I think everything's golden. So what about you guys?
Hey, I think for me, it gets to a rough patch sometimes, Depending on how deep we are in the relationship, I may have that separate bank account until then.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I'm completely separated. I think when we have finally decided and settled down where we're like Mia, then we can talk about those joint bank accounts for sure. But I want to give it 3 years max.
See, this is a hard one for me because I was 17 when I met my husband. And I was, in a home where I couldn't trust them with my money. So I immediately went ahead and opened a checking account with my boyfriend at the time, who happens to be my husband now. And we have shared a bank account since we have worked together at Chuck E. Cheese almost 25 years ago. Actually, over 25 years ago. So at times, because I have a horrible shopping problem, I was, access to the bank account was taken from me. And it was a decision that we made together. Don't ever make that decision without your partner's consent. You cannot be financially in control of your partner at all whatsoever. I think sharing a bank account is good if you are in a committed long-term relationship. I don't suggest sharing a bank account until you're actually married. During the dating process and the engagement process, anything can happen. You get up to the 3 days before the wedding and you hear about, the bride left the groom or the groom left the bride, or they left them at the altar. You do not want to share finances, even if you're living with somebody, until you're actually married. You're in that committed relationship. If you don't plan on getting married and you guys have been living together for 5 or 6 years and you know that's your partner, you know that you don't have to make that marriage commitment, but having that actual commitment, be like, hey, we're going to be together forever. That's when you share bank accounts. I don't think that it's safe sharing them while you're dating. I don't think that it's safe sharing them while you are engaged. I think it is important to share the aspects of your financial situation with your partner, but I don't think that they should have access to your money or you have access to theirs. That's just my personal opinion. There's going to be a lot of personal opinions on this subject. I would never not share a bank account with my partner. I know there are a lot of people out here in this world that decide that, hey, we've got, the wife's bank account or the one partner's bank account and the other partner's bank account. And then you have a shared checking that all of the bill money goes into. So you have your separate account that you're getting paid into, and then you have an account that your partner is getting paid into, and then you both take out of those accounts and put into a shared banking account. And that's where your mortgage and, your gas bill, the groceries, all of those things come out of. Shared vacation trips at that time, yes, absolutely. But anything that you're going to purchase for yourself, especially if you're in that dating aspect, should totally come out of you need a new outfit. That should come out of your budget. That should not come out of your partner's budget. Absolutely not. Shared finances is so hard, especially in today's society, because you have so much money at play these days. 20 years ago, people were making $8 an hour. today they're making $50-$60 an hour, at some of these jobs. And I think it's important that we share that financial aspect with our partner. Hey, I make $50 an hour. This is what goes into my account. This is what I'm willing to put into the shared banking account, because I want to have, and it's not necessarily a fallback, but the divorce rate too. You don't want to be put in a financial situation where, hey, I don't love this person. I'm no longer in love with this person. I fell out of love with this person, and I have no finances because everything is together.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying that anything would happen to me and my husband, but I would be in that situation because everything is shared. All of his money goes into the account. All of my money goes into the account. And then we have a separate account that we pull all of our bill money out of. And that's where our mortgage and everything goes into that and is on auto pay. So, we love some auto pay around here. I just don't know what the right answer will ever be when it comes to finances, to be honest. I don't think there is a right answer. I think there is a right answer for each individual situation.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it just depends on where you are in the relationship too. Sometimes you can struggle if you're just dating, sometimes that's a more difficult situation. You kind of wonder when is a time, or if there is a time that you should be sharing those finances, or what you have set aside for your future. I'm not really sure the best time to have those conversations with somebody. I think it's all very individual when you feel comfortable about that. But, I know with just dating, I'm not ready to share what what I might have in my retirement account or what my investments might be. I'm never really ready to share that until you feel like you're actually a team and moving forward. And, this becomes where you are kind of joining your accounts together. So that's what I would personally do. But everybody's kind of different.
I mean, honestly, it's communication.
Mm-hmm.
When you're at that point in your relationship, when to communicate that to your partner. We, as outsiders, cannot make that decision for you. You need to be secure with yourself. You need to be secure with your partner, and you need to be comfortable about talking about those things. Also, there might be so much money involved or so little money involved that you're embarrassed of your financial situation, or you don't want your partner to know because you're scared they're going to become a gold digger.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's absolutely insane.
Or the opposite, to think you are a gold digger.
Right, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
I think it's crazy. I think the bank account situation is an individual decision. But you can't look at how other people's relationships work when it comes to finances, because each financial situation is individual, whether it be you and your partner, you yourself, or you and your family. So it's all different. Like, I could have money and my partner not have money, but my family has money because I have money. Do you know what I'm saying? It's so hard. And we think that money is like the most important thing in life, guys. It's not, because I promise you, when you leave this earth, that money is just going to be a piece of paper in somebody else's hand. It's yes, it has financial value in today's society, but in 20 years, is it going to? Are we still going to be on this system and have to worry about our finances this way, and for them to cause problems in our relationship this way? Is it really that important?
No, we're going to be in a Bitcoin world.
20 years. You lose $1 every day.
Right.
I like to write my name on the dollar bills to see how long it takes to get back to me. Because you like you said, you truly don't know how far you can go with your finances compared to someone else.
Yeah.
Their family might be well off for Donald Trump years, but I mean, for me, I treat every day like I'm rich, and make sure that I have that rich culture in my relationship, so that you can never feel like you're down. There will be the points where you have those vulnerable talks with your partner, knowing that the bills are heavy this year. We might be going through COVID and the heat went out. Just having those talks where you can be one-on-one with your partner and have that mutual understanding of everything that you guys have financially, emotionally, physically. I love the list, the rest, but there's so much more to go through. But keeping that rich mentality on the forefront of your relationship is where it should be. I mean, we're going to have our separate bank accounts possibly. We might have a bank account that strictly is for the kids' Christmas. You know, my wife's in control of that. I might have one that is strictly for the car. But we're always going to have a list where we can go back and talk to each other about what is actually in there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you cannot be honest about the amount of money that is in your bank account with your partner, there is something wrong there. 100% something wrong. I get
where
it.
you're at in the relationship. But I just want to add that, depending on where you are. If you guys are new.
No, yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to clarify that.
Sorry, I'm used to this long-term shit. I know. I'm like, gosh, I keep
my
forgetting
world for a minute. Not that simple.
All right, guys, here we are again, ready to find out what our amazing viewers think with our second man on the street question. Don't forget, you can also send your answers in to tangled@ld3productions.com. And the question this time is, who is hooking up with a coworker taboo or the norm, in your opinion? Don't forget to give us the answers in the chat also.
It's quite the norm. It's definitely quite the norm.
Hooking up with a coworker, I would definitely say that's taboo. I think that'd be a little bit weird. I don't know, because you got to see them every day, or you don't know how it's going to go from there. But yeah, I'll probably just stay away from the workplace if it was me.
That's a good question. I think it definitely depends on the work environment, but I want to lean more towards it's the norm. We're humans. I think we should allow ourselves to enjoy each other. No limits there. So yeah, I think it should be more normal, more normalized.
That's not right.
It's not right at all.
I'm sorry. That's not right.
I definitely think you shouldn't be sleeping with someone even before marriage.
Yeah, you shouldn't
Yeah,
be for
you
sure.
shouldn't be. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
something that's like for the spouse, for your future spouse, for sure. Yeah.
She's my coworker per se, so I hook up with my coworker because we share a business together. So I would say that professionally, I'm hooking up with my coworker, which is also my wife in real life. So I would say it's not taboo for us, but I think that in other environments, say you work in an office, you have a desk job, and you have they call it like work spouse and stuff like that. I've seen stories about it on Reddit and so on, but I don't think it's right, because if you haven't set up these parameters with your spouse, or these settings with your spouse, and then you go to work and it turns out you have a work wife or work husband, I think it's inappropriate. If your wife is in the loop about it, that's cool. I got a homeboy who has a dancing wife. So for example, if he goes to the club and his wife is not there, he has the right to dance with that one particular girl. But then again, hey, people are setting up their own settings. Oh, that's real man right there. Anyway, so yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Wow. That was like one spectrum to the next on that answer, wasn't it? People were all over the place. They're like, I think it's the norm. I think it's taboo. I don't know. All right, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about some happy hour hookups. You know how that goes. You clock out, you tell yourself you're going to grab one drink with your coworkers or friends, and then suddenly it's round 3. You're flirting across the bar, and this casual little happy hour turns into something a little less casual. Very, very tricky. So here's the thing, social drinking really does impact relationships. So for some couples, it's bonding, you laugh, you loosen up, you maybe even reconnect. For others, it's the fuel for arguments you definitely wouldn't have sober. And if you're single, well, let's just say alcohol has a way of lowering your standards right along with your inhibitions,
You got
right? Which brings me to the NC-17 part of this conversation, those after party escapades. Those are a little crazy. We've all heard the stories or maybe lived them. You wake up the next morning, wait, whose couch is this? How did I get here and where are my shoes? So we have to be so careful about going down that path, especially with somebody from work. So we're going to break it all down with you guys here and kind of chat about this because I think it's very slippery slope. And it also depends on where you are at within the job, what your role is. There's a lot of morality clauses out there that, somebody who is superior to you, have to be real careful with that. You've got the quid pro quo stuff where people are having you do stuff when you offer something else. So you got to be really careful about that as well.
Yeah, but Andrea, does that ever really work out? To be honest with you, I think coworker escapades always end badly. I've never heard a good story.
I have heard of a few here and there, but it's usually somebody who's, maybe they're on the same level at work. And there's because a lot of times there's extra spouses involved. So this becomes an affair that you don't know about, right? So look at the cold cam, cold play situation. I mean, we could talk clearly about that one and the whole office situation, right? And I mean,
my thing is, I've never been in the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that have been in the corporate world.
Yes.
I know people that are like in I won't say lower income jobs or anything like that, but like in normal everyday jobs that it happens to also. But I feel like if you work in an office, you should literally just work in that office. I don't think that when you mix pleasure with business, it doesn't always work out that great. So yes, I get it. It's going to be fun in that moment. But really, is it worth the headache? Is it worth the breakup? Is it worth, the possible losing the job? Is it worth losing a status in your employment? Like the CEO, he lost his CEO position because he decided to have an extramarital affair.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he were to, have that open communication with his wife and been like, hey, I have feelings for this person too. And that's what we call an open relationship, or ENM, right?
Ethically not.
Yeah, ENM. But you need to have those conversations with your partner instead of having the affair. Well, if we are honest and open with our partners, and yes, it may cause problems when you are honest and open with your partner, but I 100% would rather my husband come to me and be like, hey, I met this girl at work, or I met this girl at the mall or wherever, and, we really made this connection. We've been married for almost 25 years, but I'm going to tell that man, do you think that there is a possibility that, you could have a better connection with this person over me?
Mm-hmm.
Because I always want him to be happy. Regardless, I want him to be happy. His happiness is my happiness. And it's not necessarily degrading myself, because if he's unhappy, I'm going to be unhappy, because we're not going to be okay. So as long as he's happy, I'm going to be happy. And he feels the same and opposite about me in that situation. So I think having those open, honest conversations and communicating with your partner will get you much further than that affair.
Yes.
I think we all had our time when we were younger where we had that one hookup that may have been someone that you work with or a close work buddy, because we did our little summer fling thing. Like, we did our little summer fling thing, which ended last week, guys, just in case you know. But our one little fling. But once we get our adult jobs and we put those serious labels on it, like CEO and executive producer, we're not the secretary anymore, but we're leveling up. That's when you have to be sturdy with how you move. You cannot let your business fall. I mean, like Mia said, you know, it's business before pleasure.
Mm.
When you are in that work setting, you have to let it be known and stand on that business portion. What they say, 10 toes down is how you get around. So you have
What if
to.
you don't have 10 toes? No, I'm just
I mean,
kidding.
6 of them will get you a quick fix, but you know.
6 of them will give you a quick fix. Okay.
But as long as you are standing 10 toes down and being who you are and understanding that when I am in this work setting, I have to be very front interlobe with my brain. That frontal lobe that is in front of your head, it should be your focus because you have your family to think back on in the back of your head. You have your wife to think on in the back of your head. You have your future goals to think on in the back of your head. You got to understand that that business is my forefront, and this is where I'm standing. I'm going to be standing in front of my luxury brick and mortar in a few years.
I mean, think about it this way. If I piss my partner off, are we going to go out on the boat this weekend? If I piss my partner off, are we going to be able to do things together? If you're working together, you're going to piss your partner off a hell of a lot more than when you just live together. We worked together in the very, very beginning. Of course, we were teenagers, and that's where a lot of teenagers meet their partners is at work. Not long after we started dating, my husband found another job because it was just not cohesive for us to be working together. I loved my job. I worked at Chuck E. Cheese. I was one of the party girls. I set up parties. I danced with Chucky. I did birthday parties with these kids, and it was absolutely amazing. And he knew I loved that because I absolutely love kids. So he chose as the cashier there, and you know, sometimes he would dress up as Chucky, but he chose to go and look for work elsewhere because we were dating and we were spending so much time together. Then we didn't really want to be working together, and I didn't want to leave my job.
Chucky and
Shut the fuck up! Don't even go there.
Chucky and Mia.
See, I told you I embarrassed myself. Fuck.
Chucky and Mia sitting in a tree.
Well, I think you guys made some really good points. I love that TJ was giggling through a lot of it at himself. But, you know, again, there are just so many layers to it because it all depends on where you are in your life, at the job. You know, a lot of people, it is taboo, and the sneakiness of the sneaking around is what keeps this affair or relationship or whatever you want to call it going. So a lot of people probably don't want to tell their spouses because that can obviously damper whatever it is they're trying to do. So there's just so many levels to it. I do think that it is okay sometimes if you're both, like I said, you're both on the same level. You maybe have the same position, or you came into a job where you both got hired together. I mean, you just happen to be working together. It works for a lot of people. I was sitting here trying to think of people that I know that this happened. And I do actually know a few different couples that have gotten together within the workforce and they are still together. Now, it just depends, again, on the situation. Usually the affairs don't work out because the whole fun of it is the sneaking around. And when that goes away, usually that relationship does as well. So, and then somebody ends up getting caught and it just all mayhem comes out and breaks loose, right? So you just got to be super careful about it, and you want to make sure that it is always covered. This is a big thing. If you guys are in a position where you are in a corporate office and you do decide that you are going to date, usually you do need to let your HR department know that you are dating outside of the office, because there needs to be that awareness for them.
Andrew, it always comes out at the company party, right?
It always comes out at the company party or on the whole damn play. That's it.
You really have to let HR see. This is why this is just so bizarre to me, because I don't think I could ever date somebody that I worked with ever again in my life. You have to let HR know.
It depends on your level where you're at. For sure, if you are a higher up and you're dating your subordinate, you have to let them know. Most likely, not always, they have some sort of morality clause where they have to let the HR know that you are dating somebody within the office. And usually they cannot do that, go with somebody lower. That creates all of those issues where if something goes wrong, that person who is insubordinate to the higher up person, that can become an issue, right? Because you are now with somebody who had more, they have just more clout within the job. And so they have more notoriety over you. You could lose your job because they
have more seniority over you within the company.
They could choose, hey, if
Okay.
you were dating and it doesn't work out, hey, if you tell somebody, you're not going to be able to work here anymore, they have that. That's the reason why those clauses are in place, for exactly those situations. Or if you're doing the whole, hey, if you go out with me this weekend, I promise to get you that promotion or something, that's quid pro quo. You can't do something like that. So there's a lot of rules that are in there within the corporate office, and they're there for a reason. So you got to be aware.
Casting couch.
I know, right? Okay, so if you want to be this is my take on this whole entire thing. If you want to be financially stable and you want to have financial security and you're in a corporate job, just work there. Just work there. You have so many factors that could come into play to ruin that financial security that you built for yourself. And maybe you are getting ready to ruin a relationship that is probably going to be the most amazing relationship you've ever been in, because you're willing to hurt somebody over it. I think an affair at the workplace is probably not the best answer, to be honest with you.
Or do the opposite and decide if that relationship that you're wanting to be in is more important to you than the job you're in, then you need to be the bigger person there and go and say, hey, I'm gonna, like your husband did, I'm going to go and find another job because I want to be with this person. And that's okay. Sometimes the heart is greater than everything else, right? And the want and the love and all that. So you say, hey, I'm gonna go find another job elsewhere. And then you're fine to do that. You can then continue on with the relationship. So you just got to be smart about it, make smart moves. And
absolutely, I agree there. But I just don't see the point in losing a job with financial security. Unless, I mean, if you love the person and you've created that special bond with that person, and you're willing to lose that financial security you built for yourself and move it to another secure location in a different corporate environment, or maybe you've decided that you're going to completely change your career and take a whole nother path, because the path that you've been on is always going to put you in that situation with your partner in the corporate world. Maybe it's you're in a lawyer or a financial advisor, and you're both that way, and you guys have to step away from each other because hey, whenever there's a lawyer event, we're all going to be there. And I just see so many more problems coming from it.
I love putting this into perspective for my gentlemen.
Yes.
And what I always think about is the Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, Jordan Belfort, he lived the lifestyle all you young men wanted to live. But, when it came down to that emotional attachment with his wife, he would lose it because he would be off in the daisies dancing with some new blonde or some new brunette. And he would lose that emotional connection to his wife that he's been longing for. And when she's gone, homie, she's gone. I mean, there's ways that, a relationship can be rekindled, but you're going to be living on a dangerous edge trying to rekindle that life. You cannot slip up. Even just a slip in the crack will mess you up. So be very wary of your relationship.
Anal talk, TJ.
Oh yeah.
So what do you guys think about like hookup or happy hours after happy hour hookups? Do you think social drinking kind of brings couples closer together, or does it cause more drama?
Social drinking, it depends on the situation, really. If you're in a corporate setting and you're having social drinks and your partner is with you and you're at a work event, how much of a lush is your partner? How much of a lush are you? It's all in the amount that you drink. When you go out to have a social hour for work, or you're going out with friends for a social hour, we're not going out to get drunk. That's a social hour. We're going out to have drinks, to have a good time. We're not getting wasted. We're not getting plastered, and we're not falling in the street when we're walking away. It's when you become a lush, and a lush is somebody who doesn't know when to stop drinking. They have that first drink, and I will be 100% honest with you. I am 100% a lush. I know that I am not going to go to happy hour and have a drink. I know I'm going to go to happy hour and I'm going to have 3 drinks. I know 3 drinks are my limit. After 3 drinks, I turn into a completely different person. It really makes my clothes come off. It's not that I turn into this horrible person. I just turn into this completely different person. So knowing your limits during happy hour is probably the most important. It's going to let you make better decisions. You're not going to end up in somebody's couch or on somebody's bed turning over and be like, holy fuck, that is not what they looked like last night. Because I promise you, 10 drinks in, they looked a hell of a lot better than 0 drinks.
That's saying you'd rather chew your arm off than wake them up.
Right, exactly. You're like, why the fuck did I end up here? But it's all in a matter of knowing your limits, knowing when to stop. Happy hour is for social drinking. It is not, you and the boys at a football game or in the house watching a football game and throwing back some beers and acting stupid. It is a social hour. It is social drinking. You're going to have conversations. You are going to talk about work. You're going to talk about family. You're going to talk about, your boss that's being an asshole. You're going to do all of those things. Why are you going to allow alcohol to inhibit those abilities? And for you to say things that you don't mean to say, because when you drink 5, all of those things are going to come out.
I love that idea, Mia. I think what we should normalize is now, if we're going to social hour with our coworkers, invite your girlfriend and like her group and bring them out. All you guys will make the party bigger. If each person invites their spouse out with a friend, come on, there's more party time, more social hour. You can talk to whoever you'd like, but you guys are all in the knowing of who's with who.
Oh, and that would alleviate, I think it was last week or the week before, we were talking about jealousy with our partners. That would alleviate a lot of jealousy if you were only going out to social hour by yourself, happy hour by yourself with your work friends, and you're not inviting your partner. By inviting your partner, you're going to take that jealousy away. Like, hey, he really did think about me tonight. He invited me tonight. We're going to go have drinks and I'm going to meet his coworkers, and creating that environment to make your partner feel welcome in your workplace is also a good thing, because it's going to be like, oh, wow, he really trusts me with his work friends and he's proud of me. He wants to show me off, or she wants to show me off. She's proud of me. I think it's so important. I love that idea, TJ, of inviting your partner out with you.
Yeah, don't exclude them from the conversation. Then.
Right.
We don't want them to feel some lonesome there. Include them on everything. Make a comment that is a funny remembrance that they might have. Let them know that your wife's favorite drink is so and so.
Right.
I'm trust me, guys love talking about drinks. If it's a whiskey sour she likes, oh, you're a crazy one. You never really know. It's depending on how that drink makes you feel.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to hit on something also, TJ. You said to make your partner feel, and includes them in the conversation. As a partner, attending a happy hour or a social hour with your partner's work companions, I think it's important for us to remember they are his work companions. They are going to speak about things that we have no idea what they're talking about. And that's okay. You cannot interrupt those conversations, because those conversations might be important and it might be something that they need to speak about. Don't feel left out during those conversations. Go get an extra drink. Go grab a water, go use the restroom, and tell him, hey, honey, I'm going to walk away for a few minutes. I know you're in this important conversation, but I'll be back in just a few minutes. Let them have that time. Don't feel left out, because that's what happy hour is. It's a social hour for these coworkers to get together and speak about, life, work, shit that's going on and they need help with, advice. They get advice at these things. So if your partner is speaking to their coworkers about something and you don't know what it's about, just step away for a second. I promise the conversation is going to move forward. It's going to move into something that you're going to be interested in. But I think it's important, because sometimes we will feel left out in those situations, because we're a stay-at-home mom and our partner's a lawyer, or we're a stay-at-home dad and our partner's a doctor. Of course we're not going to know what they're talking about sometimes.
I mean, honestly, just buy them that next round.
Right?
Keep the conversation going.
Exactly.
I mean, make it more interesting for them. Get them a quick bite. I mean, us gentlemen love food. You can get us some chicken tenders there, and we'd all demolish them. I mean, buffalo wings are always the way to go.
My fave. And that's another thing also I just wanted to add. If you are going to like a work happy hour and you do choose to bring a spouse because you want them to feel comfortable with who you're hanging out with work, just make sure that you are being cautious about who is paying for that tab, because you don't want any issues if your boss is paying for it. Now all of a sudden everybody's bringing a spouse or a partner that they weren't aware of. So just be prepared up front. Have a separate tab for your partner or your spouse that you're bringing, so there's not any confusion and no one can say, hey, why'd you pay for that person and not this person? So just be cognizant of that.
Adria, I might still just make my boss pay for everybody.
No, absolutely not. When you're inviting absolutely not. When you're inviting your partner, you're inviting them on your budget. You are never ever to expect your boss to pay. You are never ever. I mean, even if your boss is paying for you, hand her or him that extra card that you've got in your wallet and say, hey, this is for your tab tonight. I don't expect you to pay because I've invited you, but I need you to, use this card to pay for it because I don't expect my boss to pay for it.
Yeah.
That's a conversation that you need to have with your partner before you even show up. And if your boss is offering to pay, don't be extravagant. Don't go overboard. Don't order that $30 drink, order the $20 drink. I'm not saying go cheap, because you don't, in those situations, you don't want to be cheap, but you don't want to be over extravagant either.
That actually happened to me a lot because I was in the corporate world for a very long time, and we would have a lot of corporate events. I was an executive there, so I was invited to all of these corporate events, and it was just shocking to me how we would get to like a dinner or something, and it was just the expectation that my boss would always pay for everything. That was always the expectation. And the amount of drinks that were ordered that were half drank, the food that was left on the plate, I mean, it's just crazy. And it was always this expectation. And I genuinely felt bad for him because he was always having to pick up that tab. Nobody was ever picking it up for him. So you just want to be really careful of that, not to be that person that's just ordering up all these extra things. I was the one grabbing the doggy bag, taking it home. I mean, what are we going to do with that? People just wasting stuff left and right. So I don't know.
Hey, I just got to refer back. That's for the corporate party. We can have that +1 there. But I want to say towards social hour gentlemen, our young gentlemen that are looking to get in our longer relationship, social hour is not date night. Do not treat it as a date just because you invite, this girl you've been talking to over for you to hang out with your work buddies and her to be sitting all to the side so you guys can go home later. No. That is not date night. Use social hour strictly for business.
I agree with you, TJ, and I think that is a great note to close on tonight, guys. I know that we are on Labor Day. We are just ending our second season, and we will be going into season 3 here soon. And I cannot wait for you guys to join us next week on our first episode of season 3 on Sunday at 9:30 p.m., right where you're viewing us now. I am so excited to be able to go into season 3. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys viewing and who have viewed in the past and who are going to view in the future for joining us on Tangled Heartstrings, allowing us to help you untangle your heartstrings. And until next week, go ahead and send your questions and comments in to us at tangled@ld3productions.com. TJ, Andrea, until next week, I can't wait.
Thanks. Bye. Amazing. Bye.
light of day. The violin sings as the credits roll, a melody soft, it soothes the soul.